Hello, my name is Melissa Giblin, Director of North Carolina Center for the Book at North Carolina Humanities. The North Carolina Center for the Book is a collection of North Carolina Humanities literature and reading programs. Using a variety of formats and initiatives, North Carolina Center for the Book literary programs celebrate and promote the vital importance of books, reading, libraries, and North Carolina's literary heritage. We are excited to continue our partnership with Erik Jones and the Erik Jones Foundation to encourage reading. During a hashtag Read with Erik event on his Facebook page in March, Erik featured Nobody Like a Book by Allan and illustrated by Brienne Farley. You can learn more about Erik and his foundation by visiting erikjonesracing.com/foundation. With the third book in this series being Nobody Like a Book, North Carolina Humanities is excited to have author and poet Allan with us today for an exclusive interview. Booklist says, Allan makes reading and writing poetry cool. Wolf's many picture books, poetry collections, and young adult novels celebrate his love of research, history, science, and poetry. He is a Los Angeles Times Book Prize finalist, two-time winner of the North Carolina Young Adult Book Award, and recipient of New York's Bank Street College Claudia Lewis Award for Poetry. Also a skilled and seasoned performer of 30 years, Allan dynamic author talks and poetry presentations for all ages are inspiring, informative, and entertaining. Florida Reading Quarterly calls Wolf the gold standard of performing poetry. Wolf believes in the healing powers of poetry recitation and has committed to memory nearly 1,000 poems. Nobody Like a Book is Allan's 20th book. Allan, thank you for taking the time to be with us today. Let's get started.
Thank you, Melissa. I'm happy to be here.
Great. So we're going to start with a question to see, what is your favorite childhood book?
I love that question, Melissa, because some of my childhood books. I remember a book. Can I name 5 real quick? Because there's not just one. Harry the Dirty Dog, and I looked it up because I wanted to tell you the authors. Harry the Dirty Dog was by Jean Zion, but it was illustrated by Margaret Bloy Graham. And it's the illustrations I remember. Mike Mulligan and his steam shovel was Virginia Lee Burton, who has just about any of the Virginia Lee Burton books I remember as a child. Mike Mulligan and his steam shovel. The story of Ferdinand the Bull, always, that was ahead of its time. A bull that wanted to explore his more tender side. I thought that was amazing. I could really relate to that. And also P.D. Eastman, anything by P.D. Eastman, in particular, Go Dog Go, Are You My Mother? And calling the excavator a snort, a big machine going, no, you're not my mother, you're a snort. It's just burned in my brain. And Go Dog Go, the rhythm of that, I think it's really kind of made me what I am today. So there's 5 that are just indelibly imprinted in my brain.
That's
How about
great.
that?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for sharing all those memories. I'm really glad to hear that, even as a young child till now, those still resonate so deeply with you. And I think that shows the power of children's literature.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. What inspired the idea for your book, Nobody Like a Book?
Well, that's a great question. And as most ideas for books happen, it happened in a progression. There's a seed, and the seed grows into something, and then it becomes something else. And so I would have to say it really started with it was kind of a joke. It was a joke that teachers say, and it is, what's the greatest nation on earth? And the answer is your own imagination. So it's sort of a joke and everybody groans, but I thought, well, that's a great hook for a book. And it started out as a poem, and it was like, I've climbed the heights of Everest, one hand behind my back. I've seen the sights of Asia sitting high atop a yak, fed antelope in Africa and kissed a crocodile. Mwah! as I was rafting all alone along the River Nile. I'm quite the global traveler. I have been to every land: China, England, Russia, Rome, New Guinea and Sudan, New Zealand and Australia, Yugoslavia and Perth, Canada and India, Dallas and Fort Worth. But although these wondrous places hold a certain fascination, the greatest nation in the world is my own imagination. And the poem went on like that. And I was performing that poems for kids because I did a lot of shows. And that was my big finish, right? And then one day I was doing that poem in a library, and it just hit me that all I got to do is reach over, take a book off the shelf and open it up and start incorporating the book into my poem about imagination, because the book doesn't even exist until you apply your imagination to it. It's not like watching TV. And so it all kind of stemmed from one thing leading to another, and connecting imagination and reading, and how those two things go together like hand in glove.
They are definitely key. Imagination is so important when you're reading, to bring those words to life and to really jump into any kind of world you want to by just simply opening up a book. So I understand that the book inspired a song. And I was wondering if you'd be willing to share that with us today.
I'm glad you asked me that, Melissa, because I happen to have a guitar right here with me. And I'll play you this little song. It's only about 30 seconds long, so you don't have to worry about it. So it kind of goes like this. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go. There is nobody like a book. Just open one and take a look. You'll find a world of wonder there. Turn on the light, pull up a chair. Turn one page, turn one more. Every poem's an open door, so open one and take a look. There is nobody like a book. Let's read alone or with a friend, from start to end, and then again. You read to me, I'll read to you, and we can be book buddies too. We can be book buddies too. There is nobody like a book. There is nobody like a book. Open one and take a look. There is nobody like a book.
That was very fun. Thank you for singing the
You're welcome.
song.
I messed it up a little bit.
That was great. You did a great job. Thank you.
That'll do.
If you could tell young readers anything, what would you tell them?
Oh, I think the thing that I have learned as a young reader myself, because even though I'm 59, I'm still that little kid I was. I still have joy, and I still remember it like it was yesterday. And I think I would advise young readers to embrace the quiet time that a book offers them, because literally, when I talk about using your imagination and the book being your buddy or your partner or your playmate, I really mean that. There is a relationship between you and the book. Once you close the book and walk away, it stops existing in a way. It's not like a movie or a video that keeps on playing whether you're looking at it or not. It requires you to really focus on it. And I think that is something that helps you to sort of like organize your mind and settle your body and your emotions, and to sit just you and a book, the book in your lap, and you're looking down at it, and it's just you reading the words. Maybe someone's reading it to you, but it's still that sort of quietness and that sort of, it's almost like meditation, where you're being quiet, you're being calm, and it is really healing, and it really makes you healthy. And especially today, I believe that quiet time that a book offers you, a quiet time with your mind and your imagination, it's very healthy, and it makes me happy. And I would just I would just hope that kids, young readers would embrace that. Old readers too, but in particular, young readers.
That's great advice, Alan. Thank you.
Yeah.
So we love to highlight our libraries across the state of North Carolina. Can you tell us what your favorite library memory is, or highlight a public library in your community?
I have been to so many libraries all over the country and all over the world. My favorite library is the one in my hometown in Asheville, North Carolina. It's the downtown library. It's called Pack Memorial Library. It's right downtown. It's only a block from the bookstore Malaprop. So it's very literary down there. But that library holds a certain special place in my heart because it has it's two levels. And on the bottom level, it's the children's library. It's a wonderful children's library of picture books. And I've spent hours down there by myself and with my 3 children too. They've grown up reading there. And on the top level, there's a great section for teens and young adults, and adults all obviously also. But that library not only was a place that I spent reading many years with my kids, but it's also a place where I began my writing career, because every Friday, this was 20 some years ago, instead of going to my office job one day a week, and it was a Friday, my wife would drop me at the library and I would go into the library and I started working on a book of poems about anatomy. And it was perfect. There was no computers. There was not internet back then. I just had all the resource material and all these encyclopedias, and I would pick one body part, like the spleen. And that day I would research the spleen and I would write poems about the spleen. And my wife would pick me up. So what'd you do today? And I said, I did the spleen today. And I did this every Friday for a year. And I wrote poems on that Friday, and it turned out to be the first book that I ever got published, called The Blood Hungry Spleen and Other Poems About Our Parts. How about that? It all happened right down in my hometown library, Pack Memorial Library.
Yeah, the hometown libraries are just such important parts of our community. They're gathering places, they're for families, they're for individuals, there's something there for everyone. So we love that you highlighted Pack Memorial Library out in Asheville.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and our last question is, are you working on anything right now that you would like to share with your readers? What new and exciting projects are you working on?
Oh boy, Melissa, do I ever have something to share that I'm working on? I'm always really interested in all the projects that I work on because I do research for them. And it's like, for me, it's how I learn things. Is I learn it and I write a book about it. And writing the book helps me to understand the subject matter. And this book right here is my latest project. It's called Behold Our Magical Garden, Poems Fresh from a School Garden. This book isn't even out yet. In fact, it actually comes out tomorrow. I don't know when this is going to be aired, but it's actually coming out on the 9th of March. And I'm very excited about it because it's poems about a school garden, from the planting the seeds to taking research notes. It's got goofy poems about different plants, and it's in multiple voices so the kids can read it together. And the thing that is really special about it to me is that it's inspired by a school garden. It's called the Lucy Herring Peace Garden. It's literally a block from where I live, from where I am right now. And this book was inspired by that actual real life garden. And so I'm really excited about this group of poems called Behold Our Magical Garden. And it's illustrated by Daniel Duncan. He's a fellow who lives in London, England, all the way across the pond. We got to work together on this book. So I hope y'all pick it up. And I'm really excited about working with kids with this book. Lots of writing activities will come out of that.
That's great. We can definitely say look forward to Behold Our Magical Garden coming out soon in March, another book of poetry. That's excellent. So I want to say a special thank you to you today, Allan, for taking the time to speak with us, and to encourage everyone to go check out our programming at www.nchumanities.org for more programs like this. This is Read for the Lead. Again, in partnership with Erik Jones and the Erik Jones Foundation to encourage reading and literacy. So thank you, Allan. We've really enjoyed our time with you today. Thanks.
My pleasure, Melissa. Metaphors be with you.